Caracas, a new home. Go!
We're shooting in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and we are here. San Juan is standing in for Caracas, Venezuela.
We spent a lot of time wondering about how we should reintroduce Brody to this story. We thought it would be interesting not to see him right away. And so it gave us a way to deliver him back to the piece in a really dramatic way.
And the first time we see him is driving, we don't know where, and he's mortally wounded, it seems. And we end up in this very, very strange apartment complex that we come to find out that we were in the Tower of David in Caracas, Venezuela.
You know, we talked about various kinds of environments. We wanted something that was a little more contemporary, maybe, and a little bit more in your face. And I think Jim Yoshimura one day said, you know what, if we want to give Brody a hellacious place to live in, we should do Tower of David, and we were off.
The Tower of David is this tragically impressive place.
I think it's the highest building in Caracas. It was started in the early 90s by this banker named David Brillenborg.
It is in fact a 45-story office building which was abandoned when the developer died and then the economy fell apart. And what's happened in the interim is that squatters have moved in, and now 16 or 17 years later after the guy died, there are 2,500 people living in this space.
And they're called, my Spanish is terrible, but invasores, like invaders. And they've occupied this building really ever since.
All walks of life. Anybody who couldn't afford rent in Caracas.
They've jury-rigged power and water to the 27th floor, and there's this entire society has been built up of these folks. So we are using that as the jumping off point for the story we're telling here in episode 3.
So why are you here?
That's a dangerous question.
Once we decided to do the Tower of David, it was by no means clear that you could actually find a place like this to shoot.
This place is an apartment building that was under construction here in San Juan. They ran out of money, my understanding is, about 4 years ago, and it has sat in its incomplete state for that length of time.
And it's exactly what we needed. And the apartment came and scurried around and created our version of that tower.
The tower itself stands like a character, like it has a purpose in the episode, a purpose in the whole show. It's amazing production value because it looks exactly like a real tower.
To do this work here, we brought in Carlos Osorio, who was an art director on the final season of 24.
We have been doing a lot of research for the past few months, trying to recreate this tower, which I think we have accomplished in a very good way. It took me about 2 weeks to prep the building, to make it safe for production.
When we got there, lots of the upper floors were totally open. It was, if you stepped off too far, it was a 10-story drop. So when the construction guys came in, the first thing they did was address the safety issues, and they put up false walls, safety walls.
Half of the walls, the ones you see here, they're not really safety walls, but they're more scenic walls, but they're built really solid. I think this brick is one of the most important scenic pieces because it will relate us to the Tower of David. If you look at the Tower of David, it's everywhere is this walls that people build to create, their spaces. Most of these materials are only found in South America. So a very good painter here in town managed to match the right look.
We had to put in our own construction elevator, which took us to the 10th floor, but a lot of our photography took place on the 12th and the 13th floors. So our construction guys rigged this whole winch system in the empty elevator shaft to bring the equipment up to the higher 2 floors.
I think we were more focused on this at one point than anything else of the scenery or the art direction. This was the most important thing. Without this, it would have been impossible to get up here. There's so much equipment to bring.
The logistics are interesting compared to the real place. The real place, everything they have on the upper floors had to be carried up. No elevator, no power, no water. So everything they do has to be carried up.
This thing really didn't look what it looks like now because Carlos has come in and really fixed it up. He had to create very different feelings on each floor. We wanted to have that feeling of normal people trying to live a normal life in this building, We wanted to have other floors that reflected Brody's purgatory, and he's done an amazing job of creating these different environments for us within this one building.
I did a few floor plans just to allocate who was going to live where, but I think we started building it and, you know, coming together more naturally. We did, you know, we painted every single room. They had different colors, aging. We added all type of furniture, a very eclectic mix of furniture like these people will probably pick up from different places. Also, we did this mural of Chavez. It's like a little mix of a Chavez with a beard, you know, with more like a Jesus type of Chavez, you know, that we want to try to create this interesting, powerful, revolutionary, you know, area for this character. And also, you know, in every floor in the tower, they had businesses. They sell food, they will sell supplies. And we imagine that at least in one floor like this, they will have something like that. I wanted to bring a lot of color into this particular floor because they're gonna take you to the next level, and it was all very monochromatic. So this is Brody's room. We took this room because we like the monochromatic feeling of it. Even that this room is one of the more simple rooms of the whole episode, it's one of my favorites. The simplicity is what it creates reality to me here.
This building is not even like a normal building. We swapped 2 days of production because we knew it was going to rain, I think, last Thursday.
It was very rainy, very rainy. I don't think everyone was expecting this weather for today as we are in Puerto Rico.
The rain started, and with the big winds, it just came horizontally through the building. So it's been a little bit difficult, but it's been worth it. It's really an amazing, amazing look.
And it just turned out spectacularly well. I think when people see it, they are going to be shocked and surprised and pleased and curious as to the whys and wherefores. How did we get there? Where is this place?
The thing I love about this show is you always think, oh God, where can they go from here? And they find a new place to go from there.